What I'm going to show you today will define the whole Volkswagen brand, all upcoming models in the next years. And this is here already a very close to production model of the VW ID.Cross, the new electric SUV, a small one, but still a lot of space on the inside. And with core values of VW that they have maybe abandoned in the past years, but they are bringing it back now for the customers. They have listened, like real buttons and switches with clicking feedback, no more high gloss black piano lacquer on the interior, a new honest simple exterior, more German design and a lot of space on the interior. Will it work? We're going to find out here with Thomas Autogefuehl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with the new front. Light strip goes all the way through. Always like this, illuminated VW logo in the middle, and here we can also see some animation like a startup goodbye or welcoming animation, so why not? These will also be the optional matrix LED lamps, and turning indicators also look quite funny. Not sure if they will be series production, but I can tell you that everything you see here today will already be somewhat close to series production, and this is, so to speak, an electric T-Cross, and I think it works in the front. It's a simple design, everyone can understand it, and we are still recovering from this Audi fiasco. You recently saw the new Audi design language, which I highly criticize. And I think in this case here, it just works because it's what people expect from Volkswagen. Don't play around too much, give us simple design lines. We want like a T-Cross supposed to look like a T-Cross, and the Polo is supposed to look like a Polo, and the Golf supposed to look like a Golf. And this is also then the vehicle that will, for example, show where is the VW Polo going. There will be the electric version coming up in 2026 early, then this one here by second half of 2026. Then later the Polo GTI, and in 2027 the ID. Up, the smaller version. And these are all the small electric vehicles coming up at Volkswagen right now. In this case here, the length is 4 meters and 16 or 164 inches. So T-Cross dimensions, but since you have the longer wheelbase, more space on the interior, soon more about that. This prototype here has 21-inch wheels. Very interesting also that here the structure is continued over to the wheels. This will not be possible because everyone in the workshop who has to mount these tires exactly like this will probably kill the designer, so they will not do that. However, here this depth in the wheel design, this three-dimensional depth, this will be in the standard version, and maximum will be 20-inch in the standard version here, by the way, with the moving VW caps, that the logo always stays upright, a little bit of Rolls-Royce feeling. And the scheme of this vehicle is also interesting details like here, like the structure in the wheel arch. Probably not for the standard vehicle because it also makes things a little bit more complicated, but you can see this black mask here around. Also here the side mirrors attached to the door, sporty atmosphere as for that. Charging here in the front, you will have 11 kilowatt AC. It's not the final materials, but also DC charging, of course. And I heard that DC charging, 10 to 80% state of charge, somewhat between 20 and 25 minutes. And what about the battery when we move to the rear? So you can see here, once again, this black panel goes through. Design elements like with the ID. Bus, probably not illuminated in the final version, but the looks will be almost the same. And then the light strip in the rear goes all the way through, and you can see once again a simple design, not too many design lines, a calm design, yet we have some playful elements, for example inside the light, and illuminated VW logo here in red. That also looks pretty cool, and this light signature will be carried on to all further VW models. I think we have some more light animations for the rear as well. We can activate, like here, again, this welcoming or goodbye light. And you can see this pulsing effect here as well, and also here. And turning indicators will also have a pulsing effect. And they're here at the side. There we go. So that also looks pretty cool. So I'm really happy with the design. I think the car works. It will always be front-wheel drive, 211 horsepower in this case. With the stronger version, the smaller version will have a little bit less horsepower, and two battery sizes. The bigger one, it's my expectation, like 56 kilowatt hours, and the smaller one 38. So the entry-level version will be just like a city small cruiser, SUV cruiser. The bigger one you can already use for some other trips. The official range will be like 425, so more than 400 kilometers or 250 miles. But it is like more city use, and this will be primarily used in the city. If you think motorway speed and so on, then of course the range will be a little bit lower than less than 400 kilometers or 250 miles. It's in general somewhat of a problem of small electric vehicles that the battery cannot be extremely large, so it will not be suitable range-wise for super long trips. But of course, with better charging infrastructure and DC charging, then also longer trips will be possible, because on the interior, which we're soon going into a deep dive, you'll have a little bit more space. And once again, I cannot stress enough how important this car is for Volkswagen, because this will be more sold than an upcoming electric Polo, for example, because people rather buy the SUV form. You have more space on the inside, although you're not that much longer on the exterior. And once again, the design language on the exterior and also the design language on the interior and all the details will lead the way for all upcoming VW models. When I see this one now, I am not worried at all, in contrast to the Audi recently, where when this, with the Audi design is the future Audi design for all upcoming models, I was very worried. But here, I'm actually very happy. Would like to see your comments on that. Top speed, by the way, here, 175 kilometers an hour, 110 miles per hour. So that is already then also suitable for the German Autobahn. At the end of the review, after we took a look at the interior, we will also talk about a potential price for this vehicle, which is also one of the most crucial aspects. Now we'll approach the interior with a lot of crucial details, like real door handles. And I'm really happy to see them. Everyone knows how it works, and they are manual, and also for crash cases and so on. It's just a simple but good solution, and no one ever asked for anything else. And also the aerodynamic advantage of flush door handles is super limited. So good, simple door handles. Then here inside of the doors, tell me what you don't see. What you don't see is there's no plain black plastic, but there's also no high gloss black piano lacquer. Instead, we have fabric use, a very rich open cell fabric use here. The final material will more look like here, like the one we have on the top, by the way. So this is then here for the concept only. It will be a little bit more in a more durable look for the final version. High grade leatherette here, and four window levers. They will all be functional, and this is like a brushed metal style, and they use also like anodized or galvanized real metal here. This is pretty cool. So more richness in the materials again, and a simple controller here for the side mirrors and so on. Just the things we are used to, and they work. And why are you changing things that work perfect in that way? So many manufacturers are doing it now. VW has done that as well. Now they're going back to the roots, and that's a good thing here in this very case. Completely new steering wheel, a little bit flat design, top and bottom. It's a fabric on the outside at the moment. That's of course not practical for a real car. This will be a high-grade leatherette then in the real world. But beside that, this one will be black high-grade leatherette on the outside. The inside you can also get in dual tone, and these buttons here will be for real. They are at the moment show buttons, but they are also here with this metal share, and they will be real buttons you can actually press, and they look and feel really high class. That's pretty cool. Oh, and have you seen the play and pause pedals? That's a nice detail. Oh, in the middle console here we have, in this case, space for some flowers. Why not? That's Leah's favorite.
Yeah.
Oh.
We need one for our new car.
Yeah. So Leah will also take care of the plants in the car now, not only at home. And there can even be 3 plants in there in the middle console, I think.
And I think you can change it here.
Or maybe this one for water. And now welcome to the completely new cockpit. Just one more plant thing. Here we have these shining through elements here, and there's real eucalyptus behind it. You can hardly see it, but trust me, it's there. Source, trust me, bro. In this case, source, Thomas. Why not? Or trust me, Thomas. Trust Thomas. Something like that. Whatever. Let's continue with the cockpit here. Nice fabric dash here, and they will really use that in their final car. And also this element is somewhat the final element. And this is the final screen, 13-inch, and also the final digital instruments. Clean design, not too far away. The goal is that you don't have to reach out too far to the infotainment system. But now, the return of the real buttons also for the climate unit for Volkswagen. It's not the final like build quality stage. This is like all handmade, hand built, but it will be once again with these anodized materials, and you can change the temperature up and down. You can change the fan speed and so on. And this real bar, so to speak, will not only come in the ID.Cross, but in all coming new VW models, period. This is one of the things, together with the rear buttons at the steering wheel, where they really took our feedback, took your feedback, the feedback that we took from you, carried over to VW, that we want that back again. Together here, for example, with a volume knob that will be also here centralized right there.
So, best greetings to Andy Mint here.
Yeah, best greetings to Andy Mint, head of design at Volkswagen brand now. So we've been talking to him a lot for the last period of time. And he was also really, strongly opinionated to bring these back here. So that's also one of his achievements, to bring these all back to the interior of the Volkswagen cars. This one is also here, inductive charging pad. It will be ventilated in the final version, I heard. That's a good solution as well. And the software here, by the way, you can have some like hotkeys on the eucalyptus leaf, so you can change the atmosphere here a little bit brighter, change the ambient lighting. It's an interesting idea, or more dark tone again. This is probably the Leah driving mode then here. She loves that for sure. Why not? And then here you can see this car animation. There we go, also from the top. And you'll also be able to, for example, then open the trunk from here. Frunk, probably not. That's the thing. Ooh, it's also nice. It's like
really
a
quick.
3D view, and it looks quick already. Yeah, indeed. So there's also another step forward. And then the seats here, once again, this very rich fabric. This is not like a rugged everyday use. This is just for show purposes. Once again, there will be different surfaces available. The whole car is animal free. And there will be fabric seats, there will be leatherette seats, there will be Dynamica microfiber seats. Is it Dynamica or Art Velour they call it? I think it's not from Dynamica, it's also a company. So like microfiber seats will also be available. We have to see in the final lineup. But the most important thing to me is really it feels living room alike. And although we are like in the lower segment, it doesn't feel cheap. That's very important, I think. And in this case, it will be that coming bigger cars as well will profit from new tech and new solutions that will be introduced here with the smaller models. And also here through this cut-out steering wheel, I can very well see the digital instruments here in the front.
That's definitely my dream interior. Like with the beige and the white, it's so nice. I think we need that, Thomas.
Yeah, in this case, me as a cameraman gotta comment on that because I think I never heard that from Leah before, so that means something special indeed. Rear seats, also the rear doors are covered here with this fabric. Also here at the inside, nice elements here in the high-grade leatherette once again. And as for the space we have to see how it is in the final version, but one problem is always that the floor is relatively high. You can also see it here, so I hope that the final bench will be a little bit higher. As for the headroom, there's no problem with 189/602, with even some space here left. There will also be a version with a fixed roof, but you could also get this fixed glass roof. That would also be possible. And you can see here, I cannot adjust the seat here yet, but it will actually house 4 tall adults, at least legroom wise. So yeah, the thing I'm looking most forward to is that the bench then will be a little bit higher, which I think will be the case in the final model. Also once again, this rich fabric used then here, and you can exactly see no single piece of black plastic or like the black piano lacquer, neither here in the rear. It's time for the Autogefuehl signature measuring the trunk. But before we get in the trunk, what's also very important here in the rear, towing capacity will be 1.2 tons. But it will also be possible here for a ball coupling that you can just load e-bikes on. So it will be 75 kilograms. And I heard that VW dealers were especially delighted about that because they get more feedback from the customers that they want that actually. Very interesting. And look at that, you know, spectacular effect. I can press on the VW logo to open the trunk. It's an interesting idea. We don't know yet if this one will be the final vehicle, but what's pretty cool here is that we even here don't have some black plastic. It is a fabric covering. Probably my dream will not come true that this is also standard in the final car, but I think it's pretty cool also here, the materials here from this cover and so on. That's nice. And you can see here it's a functional trunk, 450 liters, and the length here is about 70 centimeters, 28 inches in length, and the width here is almost a meter or 40 inches, so that's already good. And underneath here we have a lot of space even further. You can even put luggage in there, or maybe like boxes, you know, for beverages and something like that. Now we could even organize for you that we have the seats folded all flat, so I hope this will also come in the final version. And now we can see that the normal folded trunk length to the front seats here is actually some 56 inches or 1 meters 44. And if we really load all the way through here, then we can also fold down the front seat. I mean, this is like almost endless. This is the full ruler, and the full ruler is 2 meters or 79 inches, and this goes even beyond that. So that's a pretty cool idea. I hope they will include something like this in the final version. I always want to do this, and you know, you're not allowed to do this at the airport because then, you know, police and everything and so on, because never keep your luggage unattended. But here, since I have a lot of space in the studio here, it's like an old industrial hall. Sorry about that. So a calm, functional design on the exterior, modern enough, but not too over the top. A lot of space on the interior, and getting rid of high-gloss black materials and plain black plastic. So high-quality materials on the interior, real buttons. Yeah, and the only question left is, can I get that at a decent price? It depends on the version. So the entry price will be around 28,000 euros. However, that will be with the small battery, and the small battery is honestly, to me, I mean, doesn't make sense for most customers, you know. So I think most will still get it with the big battery, and then if you add big battery, some equipment, extras, blah, 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 you will probably more get to 38,000 euros top spec, maybe 40. It's of course not too cheap. However, then you have to think about proper leasing rates again, maybe even getting as a company vehicle, whatever. But however, this one will be also a vehicle that will serve the private electric vehicle market. And I think the overall usability is very good because, again, on a relatively short exterior dimension, you get a lot of space on the interior, and once again, high quality materials. And going back to core VW, you know, things that people just expect from VW, core VW values. And I think that is the most important message here about this car today. And we'll also keep you up with the next vehicles coming up. And we already took a glimpse of what's supposed to be the ID.Polo.